This is me. What's up, guys, and welcome to a new cosplay story time. This is a story that I really felt like I had to share because I get a lot of questions about, like, what is it like being in public when you're doing cosplay, particularly one that has body paint? How do people react to you? So that's exactly what I'm going to be telling you guys today. Today I will be telling you guys the tale about how my friend and I walked to a convention through very public spaces while dressed as Raven and Beast Boy. So this took place a few months ago now at Capital City Comic Con. It was its first year ever running. My friend and I, she wanted to be Beast Boy for Capital City Comic Con. I have my Raven cosplay. It's a cute ship, so we did it. The thing is that the place that we were staying for this convention, it was a good location. It was really close to the convention. It was only about a 15-minute walk. However, that 15-minute walk takes you, like I said, into very public spaces. So we got all done up, you know, full body paint, everything, looking hella weird. And then we had to walk to the convention on that particular day. I mean, we had to walk to the convention like all 3 days, but like obviously this was like our weirdest look because, you know, we were in body paint. So I'm gonna tell you guys some of the reactions that we got, including, I think, a very traumatized child. So we set out, and the first little bit we were kind of like in more of a residential area, so there aren't a whole lot of people out and about. But then we get to kind of like this little sort of like village, basically. So there are all these shops, there are restaurants, there's a Starbucks, and it's Saturday morning, so like there are a lot of people. And like I said, we are gray and green. So I take my friend's hand. Her name is Evelyna, by the way. Her Instagram's Ultearlight. Y'all should totally go follow her. But I like take her hand. I'm like, hold my hand because I'm really nervous. So we look super shippy, which is cute, but like I was also nervous, so I wanted to hold her hand. So we're walking through, and obviously people are looking at us really weird. So we have to walk like around this Starbucks to get to where we're going. And there are all these people around the building, out on the patio, and you can see their heads turn as we walk by, and like everyone's looking at us weird, which I expect, but like, oh my gosh, craziness. So then we get to this crosswalk, and there's this cab, and the cab drives by us, and the passenger in the cab is this guy who's probably like a little bit older than us. You can tell that he's like the kind of guy who would know Teen Titans. Like you can tell that he's a fan. And he's like leaning out of like the back seat of this cab doing this. And like, I think he kind of like called out to us the first time and we didn't hear him. And then we hear like this calling again and we look over and it's like this guy leaning out of the back seat of this cab, like doing this, like, yeah. So that was awesome. It was good that like he actually knew who the characters were. You could tell he knew. So we keep on walking. The next street that we go down has all of these cars parked. It's like more of a residential area, and it's kind of like the last like road we walk down to get to the convention. So there aren't a whole lot of people out and about, but there is this one lady who's sitting in the front seat of her car, and she rolls down her window and she calls out to us and she's like, "You guys look great." And you can tell that like, I don't think she knew who the characters were, but like she was being really encouraging because here we are, two weirdos like awkwardly walking down the street in full body paint. So like that was really awesome. And honestly, like the people who like shouted at us were super nice. Like that was way more encouragement than I actually expected. So that was great. So then we continue on and we get to this house that's surrounded by a fence and there's a gate. And so we're walking by and we're like chatting to each other and everything. We get past this gate, and right as we're walking past the gate, this little girl opens the gate and sees us. And it's like, you can tell she's just like, why is there a gray and green person walking past my house? Like she's looking at us and she is just like frozen. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Because like we're animatedly talking to one another and laughing, and like it's literally like, right when we walk past this gate is when she opens it and sees us. It's like this awkward moment. So we definitely traumatized that child. And so then we keep going, and right before we get to the convention, it actually happened to be St. Patrick's Day that day, and of course Evelyna is in green body paint. So this guy who we walk past is like, "Whoa, you look really good." And he's obviously like, he's obviously been celebrating St. Patrick's Day, you know, if you know what I mean. So he's like, "Whoa, you look great. This is obviously for St. Patrick's Day, right?" And Evelyna's like, we get to the convention, everything's great, and then it was the end of the day, and like I was super done, but Evelyna wanted to stay at the convention. So I decided that I was going to walk back to where we were staying, get changed, and then come back for the last hour of the convention. Thing is, No one wanted to come with me, so I was gonna have to make this 15-minute walk back in full gray body paint by myself. And it wasn't super bad because I was just like strutting with purpose. I was like, I'm gonna get there and it's gonna be fine and I don't care if people look at me. I mean, I do, but I'm gonna just pretend that I don't. So I'm walking back up the street where we traumatized the little girl, and on the other side of the street is this guy who I think is like intoxicated. Like, I don't know how much or with what. So he calls across the street. He's like, hey, are you dressed up for St. Patrick's Day? And I'm like, sure. Like, I think I just went along with it. I think I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. He's like, oh, so like, why aren't you wearing green? And I'm like, he's like, oh, you're wearing purple, you know, for St. Patrick's Day. I think, if I'm not mistaken, wearing purple means that you have sexual frustration. Like, this guy's calling this to me across the street. It's like an empty street, and that's what this guy's saying, and I'm like... So I keep walking past the Starbucks and everything, you know, I just don't make eye contact with anyone, and then I'm walking up kind of like the last little bit to get to where we're staying, and I walk past this bicycle shop. And it's the end of the day, so these guys are just putting the bikes away, right? So I'm walking like right past them. They have all the bikes lined up and these two guys are like taking them in. I'm thinking this could go one of two ways. Like, this could be weird or this could be fun. And luckily they were two young guys. They were super cool and they totally played along. You could tell they were really stoked because like, here I am, you know, this like gray superhero lady. They're like super into it. So they're like, whoa, you look great. You know, what are you dressed up for? And I say, oh, there's this like Comic-Con downtown. They're like, oh, that's super awesome. And they're like super stoked about it. They're like, well, you look awesome. And then one of the guys decides that he kind of wants to play along with the whole superhero thing. So he's like, so what if I were to like go and commit a crime? Like, what would you do? I felt awkward making the walk back by myself, you know, fully dressed as Raven, people looking at me weird, but like in that moment I felt like so at ease because these guys were like super chill about it. And so I'm like, hey, you know, like, come at me, man, like, I'm ready, I'll take you on. And then we all laughed and they were like, oh, you know, enjoy the rest of your day, have fun. And I'm like, thank you. And then I managed to make it back to where we were staying, got changed and everything, and then went back to the convention. In those situations, you really just kind of have to own it. I mean, I do get very awkward, but you do just kind of, you know, have to do your best to be like, yeah, this is totally fine, like, I'm not gonna worry about what other people think. And it is really fun to see people's reactions because some people are like, whoa, that's awesome, and some people are like, what is this? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy that. It was kind of like more of a bunch of little stories in one, but I hope that you guys found that enjoyable. I hope you guys laughed, and I'll definitely be doing another video like this because I have a whole like series of stories from when I've cosplayed Lapis. I've done a lot of different Lapis cosplays, and most of the time I've had to be in a public space to like get to a convention, be at a convention, or do like a photo shoot. So I think that will definitely be like an upcoming little video series where I'll talk about like all of my experiences being Lapis in public. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me today, and again, I hope you enjoyed this and found it funny. If you guys have any similar experiences, please let me know because I would love to know that. I think just like freaking out the normies and like interacting with people while you're in cosplay is like, it's super fun, and it can be awkward, but it's also like really funny. So anyway, please be sure to let me know down in the comments. I will see you guys all next time, but until then, kind of faces, please be sure to take care. Bye!